are looking live at sold out MetLife Stadium, where today the 16-0 New York Giants will be taking on the 0-16 Indianapolis Colts. Why the Indianapolis Colts 0-16? Because they suck. Welcome to the Gridiron. Anybody out there at all? Anybody at all? Going to spend a little bit of time with me here this evening. I greatly appreciate it. Oops. Sorry, my dog's trying to sneak in next to me here. I greatly appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. Anybody out there or anybody who spends any time at all watching the replay of this or any other part of the replay of this. Thank you once again from the bottom of my heart. I greatly appreciate it. I'm going to try to go about 30 minutes here tonight, as I usually try to do. Shoot my mouth off for about 30 minutes. Many times it goes a lot longer than that. But anybody got anything to say? Feel free. Throw it in the chat box. I usually check on the chat box. I try like every 5 or 10 minutes or so. I check on it. Anything that gets thrown in there, usually there's not much of anything getting thrown in there. But anything that does get put in there, I try to respond to as fast as I can. So please fire away. Feel free. So before I get started, anybody wants to help support my channel out, it would mean the absolute world to me. In the description box below, the top link that takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. The first one's called the Saquon. The second one's called the Lawrence Taylor. And the third one is called the Gridiron. Each one has their own little perks to them. There's loyalty badges, which are pretty cool because there's 8 different loyalty badges. Each one has a Giants helmet. Now, the older the Giants helmet is, okay, that's, associated with your name, it means the longer you've been a supporter of my channel. Also, I have 4 different emojis. Eventually, there will be a 5th one coming out, but right now I got 4. Had them made up on Fiverr.com. You can use them in the comment section or I guess in the chat or whatever like that. I get a kick out of it every time I look at them. They're pretty cool. As I said, I had them made up on Fiverr. So anybody wants to help support my channel, once again, it would mean the absolute world to me. And if you're not subscribed to my channel, I just got over 4,200 subscribers just recently. Every day I'm going up like 5 to 10 subscribers every day. It's absolutely phenomenal. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button below. Click the bell icon. That way, next time I go live or put out a video, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge, right? And then finally, once again, in the description box below, there's 3 additional links. Okay, they're all Facebook links. All right. The first one is called, it's the top one. It's a link that takes you to a group. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. Right now, we have over 1,900 members in there. All right. And what happens is that, every day it's pretty much a 7-day a week thing. I put on like at least 5 to 10 different between videos or pictures or posts or whatever. I put stuff in there every day, 5 to 10 new things every day. And the great thing about with the group, okay, is that not only do I put things in there, but the members put things in there as well, too, right? So between me and the members, there's at least close to 10 things, at least every day, going in there, going into the group, right? So please click on that link and become a member, right? We're very close to having 2,000 members in there, which is absolutely phenomenal. Then the other is there's 2 additional links, okay, in the description box below. All right. There's the middle link and the bottom link. They're both the pages. The bottom one, okay, is this day in Giants football history. Now, as of right now, I'm not really involved with that one. I created the page, but between the YouTube channel, the season just being as kind of crazy as it is, the Facebook group, the Facebook page, I just haven't had as much time to devote to that one page as I'd like to. Eventually, hopefully, maybe after the season's over with, I might be able to start devoting some more time to it. But as of right now, I just don't have that much time. As I said, this takes like probably close to about 3 hours a day between the YouTube channel, the Facebook group, and the Facebook page, right? But the middle link, okay, that one takes you to a page that's called the Gridiron, all right? Right now, we have 472 people who like it and over 1,400 people who are following it, all right? And that's the same thing there, too, okay? Every day, I am putting in probably at least 5 to 10 things every day in there. And I tell you what, we're getting probably at least 10 followers every day. I mean, it seems like pretty close, like about every week, we're going up like another 100 followers, right? So probably by the time next weekend rolls around, we'll be at around over 1,500 followers, right? It's really, really doing good. It's really, really taking off. 472 likes, over 1,400 followers. Really phenomenal. So please click on that link, right? Like it and become a follower. Click on the top link and become a member of the group, right? And I said between the two, I don't commingle either. So basically, whatever I put on the page, I don't put in the group. So there's at least 15 to 20 new, like between videos, articles, posts, pictures, whatever, going in the page and the group. Okay, so please click on them, like it, follow it, and become a member of the group, and you won't be disappointed. And as always, if you're not satisfied, your money back guaranteed. All right. So with all that stuff said and done, the Giants, I tell you what, for all the bad luck they've kind of had as far as injuries. Okay, now obviously they've gotten guys that on injury reserve. They got half of their 5 of their 11 guys from the draft class. Their season's been over with for a long time. We just put Shane Lemieux on there from the Detroit debacle, right? The big D, right? We went down in defeat, right? We lost Shane Lemieux to the season. We lost Adoree Jackson, which brings me to him. Okay. Now, Adoree is doubtful for this Sunday. Kind of hoping, right? Maybe with any luck, right? Maybe we'll get him back against maybe the Eagles. Or you know what I would do, okay? If we wind up winning here, it's winning, you're in. If you win, you're in. And not only that, but you're cemented at the number 6 spot. You can't go to the number 1 wild card. You can't fall to the number 3 wild card. Giants win, they're number 6. It doesn't matter who wins what. Doesn't matter if the Giants get killed by the Eagles, the following. That doesn't matter. Giants are the number 6 spot, 6 seed, I guess, right, in the playoffs. So they're the second seeded wild card team, so to speak. Okay, so I would, if they win and they're in, I would rest Adoree Jackson against the Eagles. If he's able to come back, or I would put him in there for maybe a quarter or something like that, maybe half a game, maybe at the most. I wouldn't put him. He would be on a pitch count anyway. I wouldn't put him in there the whole game. I would put him in there a little bit of a pitch count, get 10, 20 snaps to get some playing time in him. But you don't want to risk injury in a game that's meaningless. The other thing would be also, it's like, would you really, if he's able to play next weekend, would you really want him to sit out the whole game and then come back in the playoffs and miss all these weeks and be kind of a little rusty? So I would put him, if he's able to play next week, put him in for a quarter or maybe half the game and then get his ass out of there. Hopefully he doesn't get injured or anything like that, or re-injure himself. And at least get his feet underneath him, right? Get a little bit of some plays, okay, in him. And then I would just pull him out of the game and prepare him for the playoff game, right? Which comes the following week. Because if they're rusty, it's sometimes being rusty is almost worse than being injured. Because now you got a guy on the field who's rusty, who's not performing as best, okay? Kind of be the same thing with Xavier McKinney. Now, I don't think he'll be playing this week. Maybe he might be able to play in the following week. We'll have to wait and see against the Eagles. Same thing with him. if he's able to play against the Eagles, all right, I would put him in there on a pitch count once again because he hasn't played in a while. He hasn't played since, he injured himself in early November on the bye week. So he hasn't played in like 2 months. Same thing with him. If he's able to play the fall next week against the Eagles, put him in there for a quarter or maybe a half at the most. Get him out of there, right? Put him on a pitch count and get him out of there. And hopefully he'll be nice and healthy for the playoff game. All right. The Giants also have Ojulari, who's questionable. Right? He's been limited in practice pretty much all week long. He's questionable with his ankle. Poor guy can't stay healthy this year. I mean, he plays a game or two, then he gets injured. He plays a game or two, and then he gets injured. So, and of course, he missed a boatload of time early in the season because of a calf, which he injured himself in training camp. Guy can't stay healthy. But so we'll have to wait and see. Ojulari might possibly be able to. Then, of course, it was all kind of tying in, okay, with my talk about the Giants defense, okay, which I'll be getting to in a few minutes here. You got Leonard Williams. You know, he's been limited in practice. You know, he apparently looked like he's good to go, okay, with his neck. All right. Yeah, he's apparently it's kind of seems like it's kind of serious and seems like it's rather painful from what I've been reading. Okay, so hopefully once the season's over with, hopefully with rest, this neck will heal itself and won't come back next year. Okay, because we you know, I'll tell you what, we got good things ahead of the Giants if we can keep Leonard Williams, right? Sexy Dexy. Maybe somehow Azeez Ojulari stays healthy, and Kayvon. That's a nice front four right there. Also, don't overlook the fact that the Giants, you know, maybe possibly, you know, you can never have too many pass rushers. Okay, so I know the Giants could use a cornerback, they can use an inside linebacker, they can use a wide receiver, but if they do wind up going best player available, who knows? You know, I mean, when they're picking, say they're picking like 23 or so, 24. Well, if the best player available is like a edge rusher or something like that, don't be surprised they don't go that route too. You can never have too many pass rushers. All right. So that's something to think about when comes draft time. But the Colts have 3 guys out. Okay. Ashton Dolan, concussion, wide receiver, or Doolin. Granson, their tight end, his ankle, he's out, and Kenny Moore, the second, he's out. Cornerback, he's got an ankle problem. All right, so he's out. So they got 3 guys out. Okay, the Giants, don't have anybody ruled out, which is rather remarkable. Usually, you're looking, you know, they have a lot of guys. They only got 4 guys listed. Okay, and actually, Dexter Lawrence is he's listed. He's, you know, but he's just been he gets like rest every week, okay? Because he can use some rest, and they give him some rest. But the Giants, they got Leonard Williams, who was limited in practice, got Azeez Ojulari, who's questionable, and Adoree Jackson, who's doubtful. It's almost like the exact opposite of the way it was in the beginning of the season. In the beginning of the season, the Giants had like a laundry list of guys questionable, guys doubtful, guys out, you know, every week. I'll tell you what, the Giants the past few weeks have been, knock on wood, staying somewhat healthy, okay? Going into a game, coming out of the game, relatively healthy, which is rather odd for a New York Giants team, but they're getting healthier and healthier. And I'll tell you what, I certainly don't want to jinx them, but if they're going to get healthy, playoff time is the time to be healthy. Let me tell you what, because if we can get, Adoree Jackson back, Xavier McKinney back, that's going to be huge for the secondary. Okay, huge for the secondary. If we can get Azeez Ojulari, if we can get his ankle better, having Kayvon on one side and a healthy Azeez Ojulari on the other, that's going to be huge. I don't know if Leonard Williams is ever going to be healthy this season, right? It just seems like how much pain can he endure with his neck, Okay, because there's been a couple of games, he was in there, playing, and all of a sudden he just came out and he never went back in the game. Okay, so it's the neck, it's the pain of the neck and all and everything. So he won't ever be healthy until next year. All right. But I mean, we're getting a bunch of guys back. I mean, I tell you what, if we're going to get healthy, this is the season to start getting healthy. It's huge. Now, man games lost. Where we at? The Giants are tied for third. Okay. After week 16. All right. Yeah. Week 16. The Giants are tied for third with Arizona. Man games lost due to injury. The Giants and Arizona Cardinals both tied at 234. Now, you kind of wonder, Tennessee is far and away. I mean, they're blowing everybody out of the water, Tennessee, as far as injuries. 281 man games missed due to injury. I mean, almost 300. They'll be well over 300 by the time the season's over. And you wonder why they're reeling. Then you wonder why Jacksonville's in first place is because Jacksonville's the only team in the whole NFL who have double digits in man games lost. They only have, they're the least injured team out of everybody. They've only had 66 man games lost due to injury. 66. The least injured team is the Kansas City Chiefs. They have 102. Okay. Of course, the Eagles are in there too. They're number 29. They're 123. So that's another one of the reasons why the Eagles are 13-2. If the Eagles were as injured as the Tennessee Titans, the Eagles would not, I repeat, would not be 13-2. All right. But the Giants are tied for third, 234 man games missed. Denver Broncos, another one of the reasons why they're absolutely horrible this year. They're second. They had 240 man games missed due to injury. All right, Seattle is number 5 with 232. But, the Giants are just, unbelievably, snake bitten every year. But the Giants are starting to get a little healthier. And if there's a time to start getting healthy, it's the preseason. Now, Indianapolis, injury-wise, where the heck are they at? I think they're like in the middle of the pack. Were they in the middle of the pack? What the heck number are they? Oh, they're number 25. They've only 135 games missed due to injury. All right. So it's kind of one of those history's little mysteries. You were kind of expecting them maybe to at least maybe have a shot at the playoffs. Maybe Tennessee obviously wasn't as banged up. They should win the division. Maybe the Colts would be maybe a wild card team, possibly, especially with that good offensive line. They got a nice, solid defense and a good running game. They'd have a very good chance at least making a wild card. But, I'll tell you, you look at some of these numbers the Colts have been, it's rather mind-boggling. They've used 3 quarterbacks. Ellinger. What do they got? Who do they got? The last? The last straw, okay, for Frank Reich was when it's really rather mind-boggling, okay? They lost to the New England Patriots 26-3. That was the last game for Frank Reich. And Jeff Saturday took over. It's the Colts in that game had 121 total yards. They had 103 yards passing. They got sacked 9 times for the loss of 60 yards. So basically they had a net of 43 passing yards. 43. And they had 78 yards rushing. So basically they had 121 total yards of offense. They had 1 turnover. They had 2 penalties. They scored 3 points. They had 8 first downs. Just one of those head scratchers. It's like, what the heck is going on? Well, apparently that was it for them. Okay. And then, of course, they let Wright go, and they brought Saturday in. But, the first game that they went out and they played their heart out, okay, they got 415 yards of offense against the Raiders. They scored 25 points. Okay. Then the next week they played their hearts out, and they were beating the Eagles. And then the Eagles, let's see, I'm trying to think. I know the Eagles were losing pretty much the whole game, and then the Eagles wound up winning. Yeah, with a minute to go in the game, Jalen Hurts threw a touchdown pass. So, I mean, you think the Eagles are phenomenal, this, that, and the other thing, and blah, 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 all that stuff. Well, with a minute left to go in the game, they had to throw a touchdown pass. They were down by 6 points to this Colts team, right? But, I mean, I said, they were, they were up 16-10 with, I said a minute to 20 to go, and then the Eagles scored a touchdown to win. They beat the Raiders. Then they just barely lost to the Eagles, and then it's just. Then they lost to the Steelers 24-17. Then they lost to the Cowboys. It was close. It was only 54-19. They lost to the Cowboys. Then they were up 33-0 on the Vikings, and they gave up 36 points in the second half and 3 points in overtime. So, I mean, then this past week, the game was really hard to watch. Not so much because of the Colts defense, but so much for the Colts offense. I mean, Nick Foles came in. He looked rusty. He's supposed to be playing. He's supposed to be their starting quarterback this week. It ain't going to be Ellinger, and it's not going to be Ryan. It's going to be Mr. Foles. Okay. Now, hopefully, he looks as bad against when he plays this Sunday as he did against the Chargers with his 3 interceptions. I mean, they lost 20-3. They had 10 first downs, 173 total yards of offense. I mean, their offense is just like a complete, like the last game and a half, their offense has just been like a complete mess. They had 10 first downs, 14 rushes for 69 yards, 143 yards. They got sacked 7 times, which is something else I'm going to go over. I mean, their offensive line is just horrid this year. Okay. So they lost 39 yards. So they had 104 passing yards, 69 rushing yards. They had a grand total of 173 total yards. Now, Nick Foles, I mean, he had the 3 turnovers, the three interceptions. He was 17-29. He sacked 7 times. He's not very mobile, okay, which could really, really play into the Giants' hands. Okay. They don't have much of a rushing game. Okay. I mean, they have a couple nice wide receivers with especially with Pittman. Pittman, I think he leads. Let me see. Is that them? There we go. Is this it? Wait. Oh, that's it. Okay. Pittman is by far and away. He's got 90 catches. Okay. He has 128 targets. He has 90 receptions. I mean, really, really doing a very good year. He's not much of a super duper threat. I mean, he only had 9.5 yards of reception. Paris Campbell, he's got 54 receptions. He's second on their teams. He's the same thing. He has 3 touchdowns. He's averaging 9.8 yards of reception. So they got a couple guys they get some yardage. But then we got Pierce. I like Pierce. He has 35 receptions. He's averaging 15.5 yards of reception. Okay. They only have 7 rushing touchdowns on the season. Jonathan Taylor has 4 of them. He's not playing. Okay. They have 14 passing touchdowns on the season. All right. So they got grand total of 21 touchdowns off from their offense. Not very good. They've given up 18 rushing touchdowns. They've given up 20 passing touchdowns. Right. So they give up a lot. The one thing is if I can, is they given up, I think they have 17 interceptions. Yeah. Okay. Now something's going to maybe possibly kind of give here. The Giants, I think, have 4 interceptions. All right. I mean, the Giants recover some fumbles, which is good, which is great. You love that and all that stuff. You rally to the ball, get the fumble, right? The ball comes out, and you got guys there who are there to recover the fumble and all. But 4 interceptions. I mean, my God, it just goes to show you how, well, we've had possibilities, okay, of interceptions. I mean, we've had quite a few times where balls have been dropped, right? Balls in hand and just dropped, right? So we've had opportunities. When those opportunities come, you got to cash in on them, and the Giants have not done that on the defense. 4 interceptions, absolutely. I mean, and turnovers are huge. Okay, so hopefully something might give. I mean, because I said with Foles throwing the 3 interceptions, he looked kind of rusty. Okay, hopefully he can stay rusty looking. All right, against the Giants. Let's see. Matt Ryan had 14 touchdown passes, 13 interceptions. Ellinger, no touchdowns, 1 interception. And Nick Foles, no touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Matt Ryan's got 14 touchdowns. He's the only one throwing a touchdown pass for him. They got 14 touchdown passes. They got 17 interceptions thrown. I mean, Nick Foles' interception percentage is 10.3%, which is ungodly, absolutely, unbelievably horrible. Okay. Now, if it can stay like that, I mean, when he throws 30 passes and 3 of them are interceptions, that would be absolutely phenomenal. Okay. Absolutely phenomenal. I mean, if we look, the Colts far and away, okay, I took a screenshot of this and I'm posting it either in the page or in the group, all right? If you go to Pro Football Reference, all right, and so far, after the first 15 games of the season, okay, Indianapolis Colts have 30 turnovers, all right? The New York Giants, the Indianapolis Colts are number 1. Or number 32, however you want to look at it. They're at the absolute worst, okay? They have 30 turnovers, the worst. The Giants are the best. They're tied with the Lions, okay? The Giants only have 15 turnovers. The Giants have 6 interceptions. Daniel Jones threw as 5, okay? He threw 1. He had 4. He threw 1 last week, so now we have 5, and Tyrod Taylor has 1. So the Giants have lost 9 fumbles, and they have 6 interceptions. So basically, they have 1 turnover a game. Right? So the Giants are tied with the Lions for the best turnover ratio, whatever you want to call it. All right, amount of turnovers. They both only have 15 turnovers for this whole season. All right, another one of the reasons why maybe an undermanned Detroit Lion team and a maybe undermanned / injured New York Giants team are bidding for playoff spots, okay? And the Giants can win and in this Sunday with an undermanned / very injured team, okay, is because they have very few turnovers. Now, you notice, I mean, last week what happened, right? The Giants lost by 3 points. Well, what also happened? They got no turnovers. They lost a fumble, which directly led to, which probably would have given the Giants at least 3 points. Daniel Jones throws an interception, which the Giants probably could have turned in where they were at, probably into 3 points as well. Then they had a punt blocked, which 5 plays later, I believe, led to a touchdown for the Vikings. Turnovers, okay? That's why the Giants, one of the reasons why the Giants lost. A huge reason. When we lost to the Seattle Seahawks didn't just walk up and down the field. The Seattle Seahawks didn't even have 300 yards of offense. Okay, Geno Smith this, Geno Smith that. Well, they had like 273 yards of offense, all right? Very putrid, right? But what happened in that game? Richie James lost 2 fumbles on punt returns, which basically gave the Seahawks good field position. And I believe the Seahawks, I think they got 2 touchdowns off of that. Once again, turnovers. That's when when we threw 2 interceptions against the Lions, the Detroit debacle. We got guys injured left and right. Turnovers, right? I don't know if we got any turnovers in that game, but Daniel Jones threw 2 interceptions, right? We lost, right? So when the Giants start turning the ball over, right, and they don't get any in return, there's a good chance they're going to lose, right? So the Giants can't take anything for granted here. But the Colts have been susceptible. They lost 13 fumbles, and they've thrown 17 interceptions. 30 turnovers. The Giants need to capitalize on that. The Giants need to get turnovers, either to stop a Colts drive or to get the ball in the hands of Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley deep in Indianapolis territory, where we're almost guaranteed a field goal. If we kneel on it 3 times and bring Graham Gano in, we get a field goal. Okay, so the Giants have to take advantage of that. All right, without question. Now, I mean, they're in the middle of the pack as far as passing yards here. They're number 23, 3106. All right, so yeah, they're not the absolute worst. The Bears are. All right, but then rushing yards, they've only averaged 4.1 yards a carry, which is not that good. Rushing yards, where the heck are they? They're number 25. 1542 as far as rushing yards. Not very impressive. Okay, so all in all right, number first downs. Where the heck is this at? First up, turn up, first up. There we go. First downs. I mean, they're down there too. They're number 23. They have 271 first downs. They're far behind the Chiefs and the Eagles, who are way up there, right? So they lose fumbles. They throw interceptions. They lead the league by far. The next 2 teams behind them have 24 turnovers. The Bills and the Texans both have 24 turnovers. The Colts have 30. By far and away, they're the worst team as far as turning the ball over. Okay. And then if we can also, sacks. Holy cow. They've given up. Was it 50? Let me see here. Where are we at here? Sacks. They have 56 sacks. They've given up 56 sacks so far in 15 games, almost 4 sacks a game. The Giants have to take advantage of that. The Giants have to get 4 or 5 sacks without question. Because you figure a lot of times, when a team is reeling and their offense is kind of sputtering, this, that, and the other thing, you get a sack, right? That kind of, a lot of times, not all the time, but a lot of times that kind of does in a drive. Now, whether it's a third down sack, right? Very rarely you're going to get a sack on third down, right? And there's no flags or nothing like that. The drive's over. But if they try to throw a pass maybe on second down, say it's second down and 8, you sack them, now it's third down and 15. That's a good, for the defense, right? There's a good chance that you're going to get off the field. So if you get a sack, say they got 10, 11, 12 drives in a game. If you can sack them 5 times and basically kind of eliminate 5 drives, that would be huge. If you can eliminate 5 drives with sacks, and then if you can get like 2 or 3 turnovers and eliminate another 2 or 3 drives right there, they have 3 or 4 drives maybe where they're either not getting sacked, out of their drive, or losing a turnover to get out of the drive. So that would be absolutely huge. A few turnovers. Hopefully, if we can get Azeez on one side, if he can play, I know he's, you can also look at it like this too. If he comes in and plays, right, even half the game or so, if we win, rest them against the Eagles, and hopefully he'll be more fresh in the playoffs. Okay. But if you can get Kayvon on one side and Azeez on the other, there's no reason why. Because their offensive line is really, really been horrible. Okay. Don't let Nick Foles get going. Keep him uncomfortable. Keep him, don't let him step up in the pocket. Sexy Dexter push the pocket, right? So he can't step up. He has no, he drops back in the pocket. He's got Azeez on one side, Kayvon on the other, crashing, and he can't step up in the pocket because Sexy Dexter's crashing around. So he's got these guys. He's not the most mobile quarterback in the world, okay? Put some pressure on him. Either hit him, cause a fumble, or make him throw an errant throw and get an interception or sack his ass, right? Do something like that. Don't let the running game get going. They only average about 4 yards a carry. The Giants' run defense has not been very good at all. Okay, so quite possible they'll give up some run yards. All right, but last week, right? Let's not forget, last week they held Minnesota. The past 5 games before Minnesota, they gave up over 150 yards rushing. Last week, they finally got it under 100 yards. They held Dalvin Cook and the Minnesota Vikings and their powerful offense under 100 yards rushing. All right. So they need to do the same thing here. Don't let them, don't let a weak team, don't give them confidence. Don't let them say to themselves, whoa, we might be able to win this one, right? Don't let that happen, right? Go in there, rip their freaking hearts out, right? In the first half or so, first 2-3 quarters, you just take their heart out, okay? Just make them go on the sideline and just, oh, man, it's going to be a long day. And then in the fourth quarter, you rip their freaking soul from them, right? And then just tell them, and just, and halfway through the fourth quarter, they're looking at the watch. What time's the flight out of here? We got about 2 hours, right? Yeah, we got to get the heck out of here. Yeah, but we ain't got time. Yeah, let's get this game over with. We lost. We'll shake a hand real fast. We got to get out of here. You know what I mean? That's what you want to do. Don't give a team weak that's down, that's got nothing to play for. Just don't give them anything. Don't any hope at all. You go in there and you just dominate. You rip the heart right out of them. Okay. The defensive front is going to be huge in this game. Huge. Right. As I said, Nick Foles, he's won a Super Bowl. He won a Super Bowl with a better offensive line and all that and everything. Okay. But I mean, they got a coach over there who shouldn't be coaching. Okay. He won't be coaching after this year. Okay. I can guarantee you that. Their offensive line is horrible, right? They got 3 quarterbacks that have not performed very well at all this year. Nick Foles is going to be in there. He didn't perform well against the Chargers. Hopefully it'll be the same thing here. Don't give them hope. All right. Don't give them any hope. So when the Giants defense is on the field, that front four. Now, whether it's, if we're going to have Azeez in there or whether it's Jihad or Tolman Fox or whoever it might be, right? If it's not Azeez, whoever it is, they got to get some pressure on there. They got to cause some havoc in the backfield. They got to get some pressure on Nick Foles. Maybe he'll throw an interception or two. Maybe they can sack him, strip him, recover a fumble or something like that. That front four is going to be very huge for the New York Giants, right? Because we know the run defense is not the best. The guys in the secondary, we don't have the greatest secondary in the world either, okay? But don't give the Indianapolis Colts any hope of victory, okay? So the Giants defense is going to be huge in this game. Really setting the pace. Going to be huge. Can they get the ball? A couple turnovers here or there, whatever. Set the Giants offense up, okay, in good field position where maybe we can get a cheap touchdown or maybe a couple field goals because we got a turnover, right? Don't make it where the Giants offense has to put up 30 points. All right, that's the Giants defense in this game is going to be huge. And, with the playoffs on the line, being at home against a weaker opponent, the fans should be freaking going bananas. All right, the Giants should be freaking pumped up. Leonard Williams, 8 seasons, never sniffed a playoff game. All the Giants, right? Never sniffed a playoff game, nothing, right? I mean, the Giants should be about as fired up as humanly possible. And I said the defense needs to set the tone in this one, and I think they'll do that. So tomorrow when I come back, I'm gonna we'll kind of wrap this up here, and I'll give you my a preview and a prediction tomorrow night. Well, guys, it's been 38 minutes. Anybody spent any time at all watching any of this from the bottom of my heart? Thank you so much. You guys absolutely rock. And as always, guys, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.